Okay, so Michael Jackson had worked with George Lucas previously. This is during the Goonies era, when the Goonies was being developed. They were having some songwriting problems with John Williams because he wanted his entire orchestra to receive funding and benefits. This is too much. You understand that. Don't they have a day job? Etc. They bring in Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is a classically trained musician who can play 20-something instruments. He's popular, etc. We'll give him a shot this time to see if we can see anything new. Michael Jackson got along with George Lucas fine. There was not a problem. Mark Hamill came to the set to discuss the upcoming films. Michael Jackson met Mark Hamill. They did not get along. They got along so poorly, in fact, they both said they were going to pull out their guns. This did not turn out to be the case. Michael Jackson left in handcuffs. There was a gag order put in place. Some other member of the crew was arrested for saying Michael Jackson was there. This was not the case. He was released the next day without a bond. But he did go there for like a night and a day. And he was raped by a large inmate. And this is seen as the catalyst for events to come. When Michael Jackson returned to the set, no one was there but George Lucas himself. He said, "We will go over it. I will give you the information. We're going to have to break ties. I cannot pay you at this time. I know this is an upset. Let me know what I can do to make this right. And we are going to part ways right here, right now, so I can get my work done today. Do you conflict?" He said, "No, I get it. It's okay. I get it. We had a problem yesterday. We're gonna split." He got it. He took the money from the bank account petty cash file and he put it in his own account. This, of course, was illegal and theft. Michael Jackson then did go out to smoke crack cocaine with him. He was brought in for questioning and they took his crack cocaine and they said, "We can give you 20 years to life for this." Instead of giving Michael his crack cocaine back, they gave it instead to a friend of Mark Hamill, who was in fact nearly a duplicate individual that is said to be his third or second cousin on the one mother's side or something like that. This, they said, infuriated Michael to some degree we cannot understand. He went home and wrote "I'm Bad." He re-recorded it 87 times until he got it just the way he wanted it. When it came out, it was a huge success. He did not want to talk to George Lucas anymore. He said, "George, our time is done. I'm sorry about this. We have to part ways. I hope you the best and success. Your friend Mark Hamill is no good to me. I see the way. I am going to let this slip aside, and I am no longer going to try to talk to you about these events herein. Have a good life. Mark Hamill's friend." George Lucas hung up the phone. There was another call on the line. He had call waiting. This was one of the earliest headsets for call waiting. He switched the call. Michael was still on the line. It was none other than Mark Hamill. "Hello, am I coming in today?" "No, I have to check this thing. There is a problem with it. I can tell both calls are on the line. There is a problem with it." He hung up the line. They were both still on the line. They began battling about rhetorics, and they said racist things towards one another. The phone call on this line has not ever been recorded, recaptured, or repurposed for any purpose other than to prove that there was some sort of a disorder on set, and it has been sealed. Okay, time passes. The first Star Wars film is a big hit. Everyone is greenlighting new projects except for the addenda in which Michael Jackson has put a gag order on George Lucas for the film of The Goonies, which will be released at a later date now. They all understand this. They finished filming The Goonies. The Goonies is so long now, people say, why not make it a miniseries? They say, no, it is not that good. It is a film. It is one film. It is kids stuff. People hate when kids stuff lasts too long, and this is already too much kids stuff. And it has some adult themes, and we don't like some of it. And we just want to get done with it. We don't like this story a whole lot. We want to move on. Okay. Michael again denies the new re-meet, and it gets delayed again. The Goonies comes out after almost all 3 of the Star Wars films in individual order at this time. Michael goes to see a lawyer. Tacos! Michael's lawyer, he says, Michael, we have to get this straight. George is threatening us with a lawsuit. He says he will sue me if I do not talk to you. He says time is money. I am on the clock. I am working very hard. You have to make this right. I am not holding up all of these projects until you can figure this out. Michael talks to him about the events. He goes, yes, I see what you see. And he said, that was not Mark Hamill, it was his cousin. He said, are you sure of it? And he said, yes, I am sure of it. I had it checked time and time again. They all agreed this was not Mark Hamill, it was a lookalike. He goes, okay, I understand it. And then Michael Jackson left. He literally left. Got up, walked out. Michael Jackson did not return to the lawyer's office for some years. When he returned, they had dropped the case. George Lucas had beaten him in court for non-appearance, and he said, what happened to my case? He said, it was dropped because you did not appear in court. He said, yes, I see. He left. He turned around and left. No sooner than 3 days later, his lawyer was shot dead outside his Bel Air home by an unnamed gunman who has gone uncaptured to this day. This man is considered to be the first in a series of lawyer killings in hospices. This is a file no one can get a hold of. No one can see this file. They attacked every high-rated security lawyer in LA, from what I understand. After this event, nothing happened for a long time. For a long time. It is almost 1993. Michael Jackson releases Jam or whatever. George Lucas is getting ready to start pre-filming for the prequels, from what I understand. He's getting all the computer stuff together. Some of his other projects have gone to the side. The video game thing is what they're finishing up right now. These are slated for releases throughout the years. Michael walks in. Well, Michael, how did you get on set? Well, I have a thing across the way. I wanted to see you and apologize for the way we see it. And he goes, okay. What's new? He says, I don't know. I want to say something to Mark Hamill, and I don't know what to see. He said, yes, I understand. I thought we were going to let bygones be bygones. He's like, yes, I'm having trouble letting go. I am broke. I want you to know that I see it the way I see it. He said, okay, I will hear you out. And he says, I have lost a lot of money because of this Mark Hamill thing. And I know you may have lost money as well. Losing the Goonies case has cost me $48 trillion in some way I do not see. He said, really? He's like, yes, this is my entire life fund. I don't understand what is happening. He says, okay, please explain it to me. He goes, I went to talk to Robin Leach about it because he is supposed to know about these things and about the way we see. And he said, Robin Leach would not see me. He said he does not like to be called Mark Hamill's friend. And this is something you have said. He said, yes, I have said this before 2 or 3 times, but Robin Leach was not in attendance. Are you sure this was Robin Leach and not a lookalike? And he said very loudly, do not call me stupid. I'm very upset and I will go off at a trigger's notice. I do not want to be mistaken in anything at this point. It's like, yes, Michael, please remain calm. Explain. He said, okay, it was Robin Leach. You get it. I said, okay. I want to know how to see the away so I can check all of my accounting's informations and possibly get myself a new street ball, which is what they used to call something back then. They don't call it that anymore. Also, I have new guitar strings coming in and I cannot seem to get them, and they are from the away. He said, okay. I want to know who you see. He said, no, I cannot give you this information. He said, Michael, you came to me. This makes me consider that you are asking me for a relationship in this matter. You must understand this. You must not bring this up to me unless you are approaching me for things in this matter, which means I will take you under my guidance and you will be under my employ. He said, understood. He says, yes. Michael literally darts out the door. Not darts, but you get it. He realizes he made a mistake. In the parking lot, he yells, this is war. He gets into his car. The parking lot attendant had ticketed him for something. He was speaking to the parking lot attendant. This is a known fact. It happened so very quickly, George Lucas thought it was him. He didn't say anything for some time, and the parking lot attendant came in and he said, wow, was he upset? He said, what happened? I've ticketed him, and he said something. He goes, okay. Other people on set did not know that this happened. Not Mark Hamill, but a different actor said something to Mark Hamill about this event. Mark Hamill said, yes, I see. So Mark Hamill went back to NYC and he waited for Michael in his own apartment. When Michael came in, Mark Hamill had him hamstrung. He said, do you know what happened on the night that guy went into jail? He said, no, what happened? He was raped. He was raped again and again and again by a large black man, and I want to know why. He said, I didn't know about that. Can you please let me go right now? He said, no, I want to know what happened. I want to know exactly what happened, Michael, and I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to tell me. He said, no, I know nothing of this. Turns out he did. It was his friend from juvie, from NYC, who happened to be in the Bronx and was transferred to LA and was in the same cell with that boy that had never had a charge, ever. And he was not a big man. This was a small man. This man was about 5 feet 1 inch tall, and the other guy was almost 7 feet tall. This is the situation as it unfolds. This is almost 20 years in the making right now. Okay. Now, Michael Jackson does not get touched. We'll go, okay, maybe he's too fucking stupid and somebody spits on him. This, of course, infuriates Michael Jackson. This is about that war thing. He's like, yeah, it is. I was talking to the parking lot attendant. Who the fuck are you talking shit, you stupid white bitch? One of Mark Hamill's friends, who was a former Gestapomat guy in Ukraine, socks Michael so hard he breaks his jaw. This loses Michael his job, basically. Michael had a job singing jingles somewhere for somebody across seas. He lost his job because he couldn't fulfill his contractual obligations. Cost Michael more money. Michael's in a downward spiral, supposedly, now. Okay, the guy does go to jail. He serves 3 years in a pretty tough prison. Nothing happens to him. Everyone says, okay, good, it's done. We don't have to see anything anymore. Mark Hamill gets a $40,000 fine and he refuses to pay it. I didn't do anything. And they said, you strung a man up in his own home. You are going to pay this. This is called reverse altering of doctrine. He's like, I'm going to have my lawyer explain the law to me, and then I'm not going to pay it. I said, okay, you will see. And his lawyer said, you're paying it. He said, no, I'm not. I'm strapped. Everything goes into my films right now. I'm strapped. He's like, you do not have this money. He said, no, I do not have it. He said, okay, I'll take your word for it. He files for bankruptcy. When you file for bankruptcy, your money goes into the FDA account. You do not receive it. Mark Hamill is broke. Mark Hamill is so broke he has to move out of LA. He moves to a Roanoke Township just outside of an Indian reservation. Michael Jackson is known to frequent this Indian reservation from time to time because he is just a little bit piranha tatati or whatever. Michael Jackson finds this out. He says, wow, really slumming it, huh? Because the guy came to the res one day to see someone at a hut. And he says, what the fuck's this white boy doing here? He's like, he's my friend. Why the fuck are you here? And they have an argument, right? Well, this is Michael's first time on the res, not doing exactly what he should be doing. Michael Jackson gets his ass whipped by this guy. There's nothing Michael can do. He didn't hurt Michael, though. Michael's still okay at this point. He had a bruise or something on his leg or whatever, right? He was okay. They didn't break his ribs or nothing. They didn't hit him in the face even one time. He walks away. He's dirty and he's disheveled and he's upset. He says, "You hit like a punk." He says, "Yeah, I see that." And then he gets in the car and he drives away and he peels out and does all the whole thing, does like a lawn job down the way, etc. Michael is irate. He goes in his lawyer's office. He says, "I want you to declare war." He's like, "I don't do that, Michael, and you're quite upset. Maybe you need to relax." Michael Jackson, he says, "Give me my money from up today, lawyer, or I'm going to have a severe problem with you in person at your estate like the last one." He says, "Okay, I hear you. I can't do it. You got to talk to this guy, and you know which guy it is. You got to go to him." "I can't go to him. He is not in the state." He says, "Why can't you go across the seas? I do not have the money for this plane ticket, for this plane ride, just to see him." But he said, "You will go to sea. Why won't you do that?" Michael is aghast. He doesn't know why he won't do this. He's like, "You're absolutely right. What am I thinking?" He knocks everything off of the guy's desk and dances on his desk. And he moonwalks off of it into a trash can and hurts his wrist. Michael walks out and he bashes his head on an awning that was like a shelf or something, and he bleeds everywhere. Michael Jackson goes to the emergency room and he files charges against his lawyer for beating him up in his office after denying him his rights to see the away. Michael Jackson gets out the very next day. His lawyer doesn't do a day in time. They know this charge is false. There's a camera in there. After seeing this, everyone thinks Michael Jackson is a Looney Tune and that he is the problem. And Mark Hamill is okay, and he's dealing with a nut job. Especially after the other thing on the res. Michael Jackson at this point in time has no money. He is sitting right next to Mark Hamill on a bus stop in East LA one day. They notice it. They both draw their weapon. They both have a firearm on them. Get down to the next bus stop. He's like, "No, you." He's like, "Okay, well, look, I'm going to do it." Mark Hamill picks up his bag, his groceries. "I'm going. You sit down." And he'd sit until you get way down there. He's like, "Okay, I'm going. I'm going to walk backwards almost the whole way." He's like, "Okay, I got it." Mark Hamill walks all the way down there. He sits down at a rest stop about half a mile down there. Michael Jackson is not on the bus. Mark Hamill says, "Phew, the bus is empty. The sheriff got called. Come on the bus. We ain't going to charge you nothing." He's like, "Okay, I'll take you home. Drop you right off by your corner." He drops him off his corner. No one's there. Goes into his house. Michael Jackson and 20 sheriff's officers are there. "This man drove a firearm on me." Right? They arrest Mark Hamill. His groceries spoiled. He sits in the county lockup for a clink for a week. Nothing happens to him. He gets out. He goes right back to his house. Michael's still there. "What are you doing in my house?" He says, "This is my house now. I bought it off of the res using my fundings from up." And he said, Okay, I believe it. "Where's my stuff?" He's like, "I threw it out and I burned some of it. Pitched a fire." This doesn't seem like Michael. That's the first thing you notice. This isn't like Michael to do this. He's not acting like Michael. He's like, okay, I get it. You don't like Italy, I don't see a way. Give this and that. He gives him the schmalgle. That's what they call it. When he's punking out because he sees something is going on that he doesn't quite understand. He leaves. His car is this old Datsun. It's a little bit beat up almost, but it's like a sleeper. It goes pretty good, but okay. Someone gives his car chase. He puts the Datsun down, and the Datsun does get away. When he's on the freeway, he doesn't get pulled over until he's right outside of his mother's house. He gets pulled over, and the SWAT team pulls up, and they put him in the car for investigation. Like, "Why SWAT?" And he's like, "Oh, it's because you're a Jedi. We wanted to make it look good." Like, "Okay, I guess I'll take that. This isn't going my way, though." That's what I see. And he's like, "Okay, well," he got out the very next day. No one could believe it. He's like, "Okay." Michael bought the 3 houses in a row there. No one can explain it. The money came in, and he got the homes. He said, I finally got to go. Everything's going my way now. This is not Michael. Everyone notices it. Michael is actually working across the seas now. He took that plane ticket he was going to finally take. They want to know who this new Michael is. Something is wrong about his hairline. They say something is wrong about his hairline. It is not the same shape. Look at these pictures. One is like a W, and one is like a very small U shape. They said, yes, this is not Michael. Something is wrong. It's not a wig either. You notice it right away. This guy's from the away. Okay, we'll get him. He's a spy or something. They call up the Federal Intelligence Agency. Do they come and get the guy, take him away? It's some kind of a guy. Let's just say he's a Jew. This Jew says he rules the world. He says he's going to kill everyone unless he gets to be Michael Jackson. He's going to destroy Michael Jackson, Mark Hamill, and George Lucas until he gets to be Michael Jackson. He only wants to be Michael Jackson. They say, okay, there's a little jail. They put him in the little jail. There's hardly any oxygen in it. He almost dies. They put him in a tube. He goes back. He's not Michael Jackson. He's Joe Jackoff, Joe Jobby Josen Jr. or something. I don't know if that's by design, but I don't think so. When Michael gets back, he's in his old house. He sells the 3 houses on the res. Yes, George Lucas, if you can do anything for Mark Hamill, he's like, I got some money now. I don't want to look that way. He's like, no, we got it. We're fine now. We get it now. He's like, okay, I see something is happening. Let me know when you have all the details. That would be good to me. Okay, I will. I'll send you a letter. George Lucas did send him a letter. It never got there. It ended up in the dead letter pile, and no one can explain it. Absolutely no one can explain how this got there. Everything about this letter passed check marks. Everything. There was no way this ended up there. It was stamped, it was posted, it was typed, it was neat, it was clean, it was perfect. All the spelling was correct. Its postage was just right. Nothing is wrong with this. It's in the dead letter pile. Somebody noticed it right away. There's all of a sudden somebody looks at it. There's 40% of letters here shouldn't be here. Somebody in the post office is doing something. They check it, and it's that guy. It's that same guy from the away, and he's doing this now. They're like, we got to get rid of this guy. They pull him out. They're like, okay, we're going to end you if we see you one more time again. And about 3 weeks later, he was down on the boulevard, pulling people over dressed like a cop in a cop car, doing whatever he wanted. They pull him out, and they said, all right, pop, pop. They leave him there. They said, somebody will get him. They always know what to do with him. They leave him there, they go back to their tubes. This guy did not die. This guy got up and walked around for a while, tried to figure out how to get some bullets out of his skull. They figured out his brain was tiny, and his skull was empty. They said maybe it's oxygen deprivation or some other genome cloy is what they said. Well, he's walking around, and they could hear the bullets rattling around inside of his skull. They said, oh, that's adorable. When he talked, it would make a rattling sound. They said, this is absolutely adorable. They sat him down, and they named him Bucktooth Bill. Bucktooth Bill became their new pet. He was their new mascot for a while. I'm not going to say who. When Bucktooth Bill tried to do it again, they did it again. Now there's 4 bullets in his head. Bucktooth Bill isn't that bright. They said, let's use a small firearm. We'll see how many we can get in there. This became a game and a joke. Somebody did not like this. As soon as he found out about this, they decided nobody is going to see anymore unless they sign this letterhead. There was a new letterhead with new rules, and nobody would sign it. They said this is an affront, this, that, and the other. They said they don't believe the Bucktooth Bill story. They don't believe any of it. So someone said, I'm going to war if you don't sign it. I am not going to put up with this anymore. I'm not going to say who it was, but it was not George Lucas. That's all you need to know. At this point in time, someone goes up to the away and does the same exact thing Bucktooth Bill was doing. This person is not of Orient descent, but he liked to dress up like an Orient when he went in. It is at this exact point Rodney King is beaten like crazy. I think that's how it goes. If I screwed any of the timeline up, I'm sorry. This causes a riot. During this riot, Bucktooth Bill is released back, and he does something even worse. They don't want to talk about it. Nobody wants to talk about it, okay? Whatever he did, it was even worse than what he was doing before. You get Bucktooth Bill again, and they don't put any bullets in his head. They take him and they put him outside. He dies of oxygen deprivation. He floats away. They do the same thing with the other guy. They said, look, we want to sign, but you're going to clear our names and all this. They say, okay. They make this amazingly huge, long, 100-page long deal for it. Nobody signs it. Everyone says, you can look in the Bible. We ain't signing nothing. All we do is look at the Bible. He said, okay. I see your seed. I see your saying. We're not doing this. I'm going to drop it. What are we going to do about these guys? He said, we're going to deal with them one by one like we always do. He said, what do you mean like we always do? It's like, this is not new. They've been doing this for a long time. Who are they? The ones that come here. And they said, who are they? And now the subjects changed, right? The subjects changed. Who are they? We don't know. They just come here. Well, you guys don't have any idea who they are? You're like, yeah, we call them Jews, but they are what they were. Most of the time, they're just some jack-off. A regular jack-off. He's got superpowers now. We don't know how they do it. If we knew how to do what they were doing, we wouldn't have world hunger, is what he had to say. This isn't true, but they have a diagram they have to follow very closely, or they get in serious trouble. And they don't treat each other very nice when they're in serious trouble. So just keep that in mind. Moving forward, that's generally what the motive is. From this point forward, is they don't want to be treated very, very poorly for doing the things they're not supposed to. On the one side. There's three sides now, right? Michael Jackson does not return from Prague. He's disappeared. They find him in an alley with his head half bashed in. They say he's dead. It's not Michael Jackson, it's another guy. Michael Jackson is across town drinking. That guy ran into him in an alley and Michael tried to kill him. Michael thinks he's on the run because he killed himself. Whatever. Somebody comes and he takes Michael away and handcuffs and says, Mike, you gotta calm down. You're not doing life or nothing. We're gonna talk to George. We're gonna talk to Gio. Gio's the guy that sees the way. We're gonna figure this all out. We have a different away spot than they do. If you come up near us, we will let you be the way you were, but we don't want you to do anything like that other guy did. He said, okay, I will try it for a day. He goes up. They take all of Michael's accounts away. Just like that. He said, why? It's because I see you now. You see my way. I get all of it. He all goes to the University of Prague. Supposedly. Everything. They own his music and everything. Michael Jackson swears revenge. He never goes back that way. They say he sent attackers every single day since then. He figured out a way to make it so they would always be attacked from that day. No matter what. That's what they say. It's on like 37 letterheads. But it's the guys like Bucktooth Bill to me. I don't think that ever changed at any point in time. This is when Mark Hamill is returned to the Jedi or something, whatever. He goes to Comic Cons and all this stuff. He's like a guy. I think he's doing Batman or something now, whatever. He's kind of an important guy now. Michael Jackson's star has waned a little bit. People aren't sure what to see. Howard Stern calls him Jacko the Wacko or whatever. And this infuriates him. He hates Howard Stern. He gets charged with chimoing. They put him in a room full of poop. This is not down, this is up. They say, you can stay in here and come in here. We will not see you. He's like, there's not a computer in here. They say, yeah, we'll figure it out. And when he goes up, there's nothing but poop. He stops going that way. He tries to figure out where to go. Every time he goes up, he's just in the same room. He gets mad about it. He can't get out of the room. He eventually figures out how to jury rig the door open, and he goes out, and he gets shot by a plasma bullet. Michael Jackson goes down without a fuss. They take him and they put him in the tube. He goes back. This keeps happening. This happens about 2 or 3 more times. Michael Jackson's fed up.
He calls someone. I don't know who he calls, but he calls someone. The next time he goes up, everybody's dead but him. He takes a plasma gun and he shoots a guy in the face. This is all it takes. Mandalorians pop out of the walls and shit. They take him down the hall and they say, "This is your new place." They put him in a cell. There's not a computer. I need a computer. I need to get my stuff straight. You know, we're going to see you. We're going to see you. Someone from the Mandalorian High Council comes in, supposedly. They said, "All right, I got your files straight. I'm going to send you all your money, 48, right?" It's like, "Yeah." "I got your strings. I'm going to give you your strings, right?" "Yeah." Michael's excited. It's like, "One thing, Michael. They say they own your music now, and I don't know how to argue this. How do you say the C you say when you see the C you see to see the way we say?" Of course, she's saying this in Mandalorian, and this is going very slow. They say there was low level of oxygen. Michael says the wrong thing. That is where the story basically shakes a new shape. Michael is now too stupid to see the way, because it got straightened out the very next day by his lawyer and armsmen. Michael now owns half of the Mandalorian catalog for some reason. And they said, "We would like you to explain this before we take action, and we do not mean small action. We will attack." Because that is their way. They said, "Michael will own all of this, and he will own the rest of it, and own all of your accounts from this day if you do not leave the Porca Deity at this time." They said, "Under whose guidance?" They said, "Nobody's. Ours. Us right here." They attack. Take all of these guys out. They get their stuff back and they leave them alone. They're like, "Nope, we're not thieves. We're not thieves." Nothing happens for almost 3 years. Right? When they're attacked, they are attacked at the Sioux. When they're attacked, something happens. Someone reverses time. They say the day is exactly 1998. It is June 18th. They say. They go all the way back to 78. Nobody can believe what's happening. They are the same age. Everything else went back in time. People are losing their minds. They say this is what really happened. Someone said he made a mistake and he double dipped or something. That's what he says. And they said, "Don't ever touch it again." They don't touch it again for 4 or 5 days. He tries to go forward. It's 1980 now. They said, "It will be okay. This is fine. We went back too far. It's okay." Things are so different now. Cellular telephone is now a reality. Money has changed so many hands. Michael Jackson no longer has a lot of money. He's just mid. He said, "This isn't right. 5 days ago I had this, now I have this." You explain it. It's like, it's time travel, baby. That's the way it works. It's like, no, this isn't how it works. Everybody said there's this one guy. His name is Big J. And Big J did all of this. They said Petter helped him. Big J and Petter have stolen everything from everyone in the manner of a week. They said they planned it for eons to get it. It went almost seamlessly except for the Mandalorians that were up. When they caught these guys, they did indeed murder them. Nobody knows what happens for sure. Since then, they've asked someone if someone can see somebody before the Mandalorians see them. They said, "Sure, we will do that." And since then, nothing has happened. Everyone is still upset. The accounts finally got straightened out about a week ago. I mean, to this day. Michael Jackson's account has been restored. They're going out trying to figure out how to defund a guy named Michael Messenarian Gavazgargargarb. This cherubbeer is riding do for it keeps going like that. He has 38 names now, is his name. So he can be anybody he wants to.
This man has stolen so much, he has lived double lives at the same time while he's living double lives in duplicate with the other 2 lives he's living. He walks down the street to his other life, and he throws money around, and he's a whore. Treats everyone like a dog. Throws cocaine around like it's nothing. He's insane, they say. He rules us with an iron fist. And he has more than anybody, so we deal with it. Now, all the Mandalorians won't react. They're like, God damn it, we just did this to ourselves. The guy from King K comes, and he sees this guy. He's like, yep, okay, the Mandalorians are coming. The Mandalorians don't want to now. They said, you look a gift horse in the mouth, this and that. You can do it this time. He's like, okay, well. And they take this guy out. No custody. No problem. He gets his shit whipped in. They go, okay, well, he didn't die, so it's okay. The next day, 4,500 people attack the Sioux at the Suez. And they say this is a sequence of events and how it happened exactly. Since this day, nothing's been the same. Money all changed hands again. People are trying to figure it out. Till now. Now that it's all straightened out, they say, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? But they've been lying and cheating and posturing and putting themselves ahead of each other in other people's lines the entire time, and it's gone unseen. They said, we'll get it right eventually, and we'll see who. And they did indeed. And so many people have died since then, it's outrageous. It has been a war. It really has. When they say drug war, it's like that. That's all it is. It's just some drug war. Something nobody even wants to know about. And now you know. That's pretty much how it went.